Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Cabinet approves 16% fare increase for PPV operators. UHWI concerned over rising fuel costs. And later in sports, reggae boys to face South Africa.
Thank you for joining us. Now the details. Effective today, June 2, persons who use public passenger vehicles will pay more for fares. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz made the announcement at a press briefing this morning. Kalisha Williams reports.
Thanks so much. So the announcement was made by Transport Minister Darrell Vaz a few hours ago, and I know many of you would have heard the cries of taxi operators and other players in the transport sector. They've been appealing for a fare increase ever since we saw the disruption in global oil prices since the war on Iran, and we've seen an increase in prices at the pumps. So effective today, there will be an 8% fare increase. That's effective June 2, that's today, and another 8% will be implemented on July 1. So overall, that will amount to a 16% fare increase, and that has been in the pipeline since April 2024. So say, for instance, the current rate for road taxis right now, the base rate that is $113. With the June adjustment, it will move to $122, and with the July adjustment, it will move to $131. I must say, though, there were a few transport operators at the press conference this morning, and they had some concerns. There were issues with the phased implementation, and they appealed for the minister to implement or roll out the full 16% today, saying that there may be some tension when they try to implement an 8% today and then move on to another 8% in July. There may be some tension between consumers or passengers. And they also questioned whether the 8%, well, other operators also questioned whether the 8% will even be granted. I must say the minister did provide a rationale for why there will be a phased implementation, and I'll have all the details of that and other issues that were raised at the press conference this morning in primetime news this evening at 7. Reporting from the Transport Ministry, I'm Kalisha Williams for TVJ News.
Following former UHWI Board Chairman Wayne Chai Chung's revelation that the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, overturned the board's decision on the appointment of a new CEO, new details have emerged from the meeting minutes. Speaking at Tuesday's Public Accounts Committee meeting, acting UHWI CEO Eric Hossin said the board minutes do not reflect any ministerial interference in the appointment process.
The minutes of the relevant periods were checked. Neither the minutes of the board meeting or minutes of the Board of Senior Directors speak to a decision to overturn the appointment of a candidate who was selected for the post of CEO. So there are no records stating that in any of the minutes that we have recorded.
And the only reference of all the minutes that you checked, and you said you would have checked for the period from pretty much a 1 year period. Yes. The only reference to the CEO would have been what?
Found in the July 19, 2023, which was attached, and the only mention of the selection process or employment of a candidate can be found there. And there is really nothing else that states that the board approved anyone to be the CEO.
In the meantime, concerns that rising transportation costs are placing significant strain on some tourism-dependent communities. This was raised by President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, President Christopher Jarrett. Details in this report.
Not only are visitors to Jamaica paying more to get here by plane, but they're also faced with the increase in cost for rental vehicles and taxi services. This reality as global oil prices continue to soar. President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Christopher Jarrett, says the trend is a growing concern for the tourism sector.
We're not seeing it as negatively impacting places like Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. and I dare say Kingston. We see that Negril has other issues that they're contending with, that are, I think, impacting the seamlessness of that experience. I think they have some water issues that are now being addressed.
Mr. Jarrett adds that the association is also advancing discussions on several infrastructure projects aimed at strengthening the industry. In the meantime, he notes that a growing number of travelers are opting for Airbnb accommodations, reducing demand for traditional hotel rooms.
The major room count is expected to be back up early first quarter of next year. But in the meantime, I would say that the hotels in Montego Bay appear to be enjoying good occupancies. So it's still looking strong right now.
Mr. Jarrett is urging hotels currently under renovations to complete their upgrades and return to the market as soon as possible to help meet accommodation needs.
What we want to focus on is the airlift. So we want to encourage the hotels that have been closed to look at phasing in their operation rather than waiting for the full complement of room count to hit the market. They could perhaps consider block by block renovations so that we can encourage more airlift and therefore not end up having to claw back on the market share that we may have lost.
Karine Simpson, TVJ News.
The Jamaica Public Service Company says it has restored electricity to all its customers 7 months after the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. JPS Director of Corporate Communications, Winsome Callum, says there are a few promises that are still not ready to receive electricity supply. Speaking today on TVJ's Smile Jamaica, Ms. Callum praised the efforts of the teams that worked tirelessly to restore power in the affected communities.
Melissa, we signed contracts with overseas suppliers to provide contractors to help us to restore immediately after. That worked really well. So ahead of the 2026 season, we did that again. So we have contracts with overseas persons and we get them in if we should have a threat of a hurricane again. While we were restoring, some elements of the grid were completely destroyed. So we used that as an opportunity to rebuild and rebuild stronger. There are a few things that we did. We relocated poles, we relocated lines to stronger, more sturdy areas, more resilient spaces. We shortened line spans so that they're better able to withstand heavy winds. And we introduced new technology.
Following Monday's deadly crash along the Rose Hall Main Road in St. James, Councillor for the Rose Hall Division, Anthony Murray, is renewing calls for urgent road safety interventions. He says the incident highlights long-standing concerns about the roadway and the need for immediate action to protect motorists and pedestrians.
I know that the buses that travel from Montego Bay to Falmouth carrying students daily. So I'm going to use the opportunity to appeal to parents to capitalize on it, to utilize so that they can ensure that the safety of their children are not compromised. Because this accident today, I must say, it is a result of speeding. I know that there's some more construction taken in place, but the necessary precautions have been put in place based on my observation.
The crash claimed the life of flag worker 22-year-old Bianca Wallace and left several others injured, including students and two of the drivers involved in the collision.